the soft, unforgiving beep of the declined card, a silence that hangs in the air, thick with unspoken judgment. We have all felt a version of this moment, a sudden cold plunge into the reality of our financial lives. It's a quiet humiliation, a private failure made public. You stand there, the line growing behind you, feeling a flush of shame that has nothing to do with the few dollars you lack, and everything to do with the life you feel you're failing to live. What if the relentless anxiety we feel about money has less to do with our spreadsheets and more to do with the story we've been told? A story about what money is supposed to mean. We see it scrolling through our phones at night, friends on trips we can't afford, colleagues celebrating promotions that seem to accelerate them into a different world, leaving us behind in a cloud of quiet debt and comparison. The feeling is a familiar one, that we are somehow late, that the ship has sailed and we are left stranded on the shore. We are caught between two powerful forces. From the outside, there is the relentless pressure to signal success. The right car, the right neighborhood, the right vacations. These are the markers of a life well lived, or so we are told. Internally, a different battle rages. The anxiety of inadequacy, the fear of scarcity, the limiting beliefs whispered in our own minds that we are simply not the kind of people who build wealth. We are crushed between the performance and the panic. At the heart of this struggle is a seductive, culturally ingrained lie that financial freedom is a destination, a specific number on a screen that once reached will magically grant us peace, respect, and liberation from all our worries. We chase this number like a horizon, believing that more is the universal antidote to fear. But this chase creates its own invisible prison. We perform a life we cannot afford, shackled by the quiet anxiety of performance, the performative consumption, and a chronic, gnawing fear of not having enough, no matter how much we accumulate. This script is a revelation of something you have likely always felt, but never had the words for: the existential weight of your bank balance. The shame that follows an impulsive purchase meant to numb a deeper ache, the bone-deep weariness of pursuing financial goals that feel hollow, that were chosen for you by algorithms and advertisements. We are here to dismantle this lie, not with financial jargon, but with ancient wisdom that has weathered empires and collapses. Let us turn to the emperor, Marcus Aurelius, a man who commanded the known world, yet spent his nights writing to himself, not about conquering nations, but about conquering the turmoil within. He understood that true wealth isn't about the size of the treasury, but the fortitude of the mind. He championed a long-term perspective, one that sees life not as a series of frantic sprints for immediate reward, but as a patient, deliberate construction of a meaningful existence. This is where our work begins. The modern world is an engine built for short-term thinking. It is the instant notification of a stock's movement, triggering a jolt of greed or panic. It is the buy now, pay later button that disconnects the pleasure of the purchase from the pain of the payment. Each of these is a small hit of dopamine that hijacks our brain's reward system, slowly, imperceptibly, trading the future we want for the fleeting satisfaction we can have right now. The first step is not to fight it with brute force, but simply to see it for what it is. Consider the morning. The alarm rings, and before your feet touch the floor, your hand reaches for the phone. You are not choosing your day, you are reacting to it. You are instantly flooded with the market's performance, the curated lives of others, the urgent demands of work. Your mind, in these first crucial moments, is handed over to the chaos of the immediate. You start the day scattered, already behind on your own life, your own long-term vision already lost in the noise of the now. The Stoics would urge us to build an inner citadel. This is not a fortress of gold, but a fortress of principles. Before you can make consistent long-term financial decisions, you must know what your money is for. What are your core values? Is it security, autonomy, the ability to care for your family, or has it become a tool for external validation, a way to quiet the envy you feel when a friend leases a new, expensive car, financed by a future they may not yet own? Without this citadel, you are adrift in a sea of social comparison. Your definition of success becomes a moving target, set by those around you. You must write down, in a single sentence, the person you want to be in 10 years. Calm, financially independent, generous, wise. This sentence is your North Star. It is the filter through which every financial decision, from a cup of coffee to an investment, must pass. It quiets the noise of what others are doing. A long-term mindset is not blind optimism. It is sober preparation. The Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. This is not about wallowing in fear, but about neutralizing it through rehearsal. Instead of only dreaming of market gains, you sit for a few minutes and ask, what if the market drops 30%? What if I lose my job? What is my plan? By contemplating the storm in calm weather, you build emotional calluses. When the storm inevitably arrives, you are not shocked into a panic sale. You are prepared to execute a rational plan. This practice transforms fear from a paralyzing agent into a strategic tool. You identify the true risks in your life, not the imagined ones. You build the emergency fund not out of fear, but out of wisdom. You diversify your investments not because you are timid, but because you are prudent. You become anti-fragile, strengthened by the very volatility that shatters others. The long winter will come. The question is whether you have spent the autumn preparing for it. The greatest battle is won in the small choices of the day. Here, the central Stoic doctrine is our sharpest tool, the dichotomy of control. Epictetus taught that some things are up to us, and others are not. We exhaust ourselves emotionally and financially by focusing on what we cannot control: the direction of the market, the rate of inflation, the career success of our peers. This is like trying to command the wind. Our power lies entirely in what we can control. You cannot control the market's returns, but you can control your savings rate. You cannot control the economy, but you can control your spending habits. You cannot control the next hot stock, but you can control your asset allocation and your commitment to a consistent strategy. Pouring 100% of your energy into this domain is the only path to financial serenity. It replaces anxiety about outcomes with a deep focus on your own virtuous actions. Grand financial goals are not achieved through heroic leaps. They are the result of the compounding power of small, almost unnoticeable actions. We overestimate what we can do in a year and underestimate what we can do in a decade. The idea of saving $100,000 feels impossible, but saving $50 a day, that feels achievable. Like water carving stone, it is the consistency, not the force, that creates the canyon. This is the compounding mindset applied to your entire financial life. Reading 10 pages of a financial book each day, automating a small investment every single week, reviewing your budget for 5 minutes every Sunday. These actions are boring. They are not glamorous. They will not be celebrated on social media, but they are the very bedrock of lasting wealth. The long-term mindset is a quiet commitment to the non-obvious, the unexciting, the profoundly effective daily disciplines. The journey will be long, and much of it will be a plateau. There will be times when your progress feels stalled, when your investments are flat, when it feels like your discipline is for naught. This is where the Stoic concept of amor fati, a love of one's fate, becomes essential. It is the practice of embracing every part of the process, not just the triumphant destination. It is seeing the struggle not as a bug, but as a feature. A market downturn is not a failure of your portfolio. It is the price of admission for higher long-term returns. It is an opportunity to buy assets at a discount. A period of lean income is not a punishment. It is a masterclass in distinguishing wants from needs, forcing you to align your spending with your deepest values. When you learn to love the journey, you become unstoppable, because even the obstacles become fuel, revealing the way forward. Our short-term thinking is driven by emotional reaction. The market drops, and we feel fear, so we sell. We see a lifestyle advertisement, and we feel desire, so we buy. The long-term mindset is built upon intentional response. The secret lies in the space between the stimulus and your reaction. Viktor Frankl, a survivor of the Holocaust and a modern Stoic, said that in that space lies our growth and our freedom. The Stoics called it the pause. You receive a notification that your portfolio is down 5%. Your immediate impulse is panic. The Stoic pause is taking a breath, walking away from the screen for 5 minutes, reminding yourself of your long-term plan, of the citadel you have built. You return not with a frantic reaction, but with a calm, deliberate response, which most often is to do nothing at all. This pause is your superpower. It is where wisdom lives. We are told, you only live once, often as a justification for reckless spending. The Stoics had a more powerful motivator, memento mori. Remember, you will die. This is not a morbid thought, but a tool for radical prioritization. When you hold the finitude of your time in your mind, the trivialities of status and impulse fall away. You are forced to ask the most important questions. On my deathbed, will I be glad I spent years of my life in a job I hated to afford a car that impressed strangers? Will I cherish the memory of the things I bought, or the freedom and security I built for myself and my family? Memento mori creates a healthy urgency, not to consume, but to align your finite time, your finite energy, and your finite capital with what truly matters. Time is the one asset you cannot earn more of. When financial anxiety threatens to overwhelm you, practice what Marcus Aurelius called the view from above. In your mind, zoom out from your desk, your home, your city. See the continent, then the earth, a pale blue dot suspended in the vast, silent expanse of the cosmos. See the sweep of human history, the rise and fall of empires, the endless cycles of markets booming and busting. From this vantage point, how significant is today's market fluctuation? How catastrophic is the minor financial setback you are facing? This cosmic perspective does not invalidate your struggles, but it right-sizes them. It diffuses the sharp edges of panic and replaces it with a profound sense of calm. You are a part of a much larger story, and your immediate worries are but a single, fleeting sentence. A truly long-term vision transcends the self. Stoicism teaches sympathia, the idea that we are all interconnected, limbs of a single organism. What is not good for the beehive, Marcus wrote, cannot be good for the bee. Building wealth solely for personal consumption is a hollow victory. A Stoic financial plan considers its role in the larger whole. This means building a life of such financial stability that you can be a source of strength for your family and community in times of crisis. It means using your resources not just for comfort, but for contribution. This shifts the goal from a self-centered accumulation to a purpose-driven allocation. Your wealth becomes a tool not just for your own freedom, but for the betterment of the hive. Finally, a long-term mindset is not a destination you arrive at, but a practice you cultivate daily. The Stoics ended their day with a philosophical review. We can adapt this into a simple, powerful financial ritual. Before sleep, instead of the blue light of a screen, take a journal and ask 3 questions. Where did I spend mindlessly today, driven by impulse? Where did my spending align with my values, with the future self I am building? What single thing will I do differently tomorrow? This evening review is where the cycle of growth is completed. It is where you compound not just your money, but your wisdom. It transforms each day, with its successes and its failures, into a lesson. It ensures that you do not simply grow older, but that you grow wiser. This is the engine of your evolution. We have not built a checklist of financial tips. We have built an operating system for a life of purpose, viewed through the lens of our finances. By shifting from the tyranny of the immediate to the expansive horizon of a lifetime, you cease to be a panicked passenger, tossed about by the waves of the market and the winds of culture. You become the calm, steady pilot of your own ship. You learn to see obstacles as opportunities. You master your impulses not through suppression, but through wisdom. You compound small, virtuous actions into a legacy of character, resilience, and genuine abundance. This is not a promise of getting rich quick. It is the promise of building a rich life, slowly, deliberately, and with profound peace of mind. The work begins now, with your very next choice. Wealth, in the end, is not a number. It is the absence of anxiety. It is the quiet confidence of knowing you have enough. It is the freedom to devote your time to what you truly value. It is the inner autonomy that no market crash can ever take away. So we are left with a final question, one that reframes the entire quest. We must not ask, how much money do I need to be free? We must ask, from what do my desires and fears need to be freed?